I am more than breast cancer.
I am more than gastric cancer.
I am more than Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3.
I am more than Lynch syndrome.
I am more than metastatic male breast cancer.
I'm more than PMDD.
I am more than diabetes.
I am more than lupus.
I am more than FAP.
Welcome to More Than a Diagnosis. I'm Den.
And I'm Jess. This podcast is about so much more than cancer, chronic illness, or the labels we've been given. It's about reclaiming our lives, finding community, and thriving in ways we never thought possible.
Whether you're a patient, a caregiver, or just someone curious about what it means to live beyond a diagnosis, we're so glad you're here.
Hey friends, it's Jess. Today's episode is a little different than what we had originally planned, but this felt really important and honestly it felt right to me and Den. So if you've been a part of this community for a while, then you probably already know and love our friend Liz. She has been just such a bright light and a steady presence in our community, and today it's her birthday. So, in honor of her, we've decided that we're going to be resharing the conversation that we recorded with her last season. It's honestly one of my absolute favorites because it's just so her, very real and honest and grounded, because that's just who she is. And we wanted to hold space for that today. Liz is currently on hospice and is navigating a lot right now. She's got medical expenses and funeral expenses and all the things that come with end-of-life care. So if you feel called to support, we've linked all the ways that you can support her in our show notes. There's absolutely no pressure, just an invitation to show up for someone who has poured so much into this community. We love you so much, Liz, and we just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Okay, here's our conversation with Liz.
Welcome, Liz. We're so honored to have you with us today, and your story means just so much to us. We're so grateful that you're here to share your story with us and with our community. So let's dive in. Can you start by telling us a little about when your symptoms first began and how your journey to diagnosis unfolded?
Yeah, so my symptoms kind of started towards the end of 2020, like maybe November, December 2020. I started feeling extremely exhausted. I had no energy for anything besides just my day-to-day, going to work, coming home, getting ready for the next day. No energy for any social life. And I thought maybe it's because of the pandemic, everything going on, working increased hours. But it just felt like I could never catch up with my energy. And my spouse was wanting to do all these things on my one off day, and I was like, dude, no, I have no energy. I need to sleep this entire day. And after so long of that, he's like, what's going on? And I said, I think something is going on. I think I need to go to the doctor and get my blood work checked because this doesn't feel. And so I went to the doctor and they did the blood work and they said, no, everything is good. You're healthy. Wow. Everything is super great. Maybe this could be stress or anxiety. Let's see if your workload decreases. Come back in a couple months and we'll rerun the blood work. Yes. And so did that and came back and continued on with every couple months. Same thing, blood work normal. But then I got a new symptom. My smartwatch kept going off to tell me that my heart rate was over 100 and had been for more than 10 minutes while I was sitting down. Wow. So I thought, that's a little weird. After a couple times of that happening, I said, let me go back to the doctor. So I did. And I said, I'm back, have a new symptom. And so they did a quick EKG. It didn't show anything, any red flags. And they reran my blood work. Normal. They're like, well, we don't really know what's causing this, but we don't want you to have an increased heart rate, so let's start you on this medication to help with that. and see if that helps. So did that. I know. So bad.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 31. Yeah,
so you were
31.
so young.
Yes, so young and healthy, and there's no answer for this. Like
Stress, of course.
Stress.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say, except for stress in your workload, right?
Yes, they kept asking me, like, are you sure it's not stress? I'm like, well, I've always worked in, like, high-stress environments, but I manage it well. I can feel when I'm not managing it well, and I don't think that's what's going on here. Started that medication. A couple months later, I got heartburn for the very first time. I'd never had heartburn my entire life, and out of nowhere, I had this extreme burning sensation in my chest, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, okay, I think this is what people say that they feel when they have heartburn. But from that moment, it was every single time that I ate, regardless of what I ate, I was eating pastries and getting heartburn. And I was like, something is not right.
Something's not right.
So back to the doctor. I was like, I'm having heartburn, and it's every single time I eat. And I've never had heartburn before. And I was told, well, you're in your 30s now, so you probably can't tolerate certain foods that you were eating before. Let's have you cut back on acidic foods and start you on this medication. And I was like, well, it's regardless of what I eat, even foods that are not acidic. But
they're like, I'm eating a donut. Why is this giving me heartburn?
Yes, this does not make sense.
Rice.
Yes.
Rice.
Plain
Exactly.
bread. Why?
Right. And they were like, well, do you drink coffee? And I said, yeah, I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. And she's like, well, let's stop that. I'm like, so 1 cup is contributing to all of this?
No.
Yes. So I switched to mushroom coffee. I cut out acidic foods.
That doesn't sound good, though. Sorry. I just had to throw
It
that in there.
wasn't.
It's not.
It wasn't. I actually have found one that I do enjoy, though, now. But
oh, that's good.
The one that I tried at that time, it was not good.
No. There's some that are just really gross. And it's just not coffee.
It's like a mud consistency. And it's like, no, this is not. I like my smooth, creamy coffee.
So it's chunky?
Yes, it has like that, like a muddy consistency.
Gross.
Yes.
It's
not
like
the new
almost
one that I've tried.
It's almost like drinking, I feel like it's almost like drinking a protein shake.
Yeah.
But hot.
Yes.
It's gross. I tried it one time when I was breastfeeding, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink caffeine. And I was like, nope, this is not good. I cannot do it.
Yes.
Maybe it's changed since then. That was a long time ago, but still.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
I tried
muddy chocolate.
Yes. Exactly.
It's gross.
That's the best way to describe it.
It's weird.
So you switched to the muddy chocolate and nothing changed.
And it didn't help. The medication didn't help. And I was like, I'm getting frustrated. Like at this point, because I've been going back every couple of months and redoing blood work, and I'm not getting answers. This medication isn't helping. I want to start all over. I just want to stop all medication that I'm on. The one for my heart, the one for the heartburn, and I just want testing done. I want you to tell me, hey, we did this test, this is what it is, and this is the medication for it, versus let's try this medication first. So I slowly weaned off my medications. I didn't want to go too fast because I was like, oh, well, this one slows down my heart rate. I don't want to cause any issues. So I did take, I think it was like a month or two. I slowly decreased how often I was taking it and how many pills a day I was taking. And during that time, my weight started dropping very fast. So I lost 15 pounds within those 2 months.
Wow.
And and I wasn't eating super healthy. I wasn't working out. So I was like, hey, this weight is dropping. And everyone around me noticed. They're asking, why are you losing weight? Why are you getting smaller? What's going on? And I said, I don't know, but I'm planning on going back to the doctor anyway. So we will figure this out.
And I'm sure it was super noticeable since you're a tiny person.
Yes, I'm very tiny, so it was extremely noticeable. If I lose 5 pounds, it makes a huge difference. So 15 pounds, it's
and in such a short amount of time.
2 months.
Exactly.
How much time had elapsed since you started your symptoms to the point where you lost weight? How much time
2 years.
had passed by? 2 years?
2 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
At that point,
So you just kept going
2 years.
back to the doctor with new symptoms and...
Yep. And rerunning blood work. We did do a sleep apnea test too to see if that was contributing to the fatigue. Nope. We did a heart monitor test. No results. So we were running other little tests in the background, but no answers. It seemed like we weren't getting anywhere.
And were you going to the same doctor that whole time?
I was, but there were 2 different doctors there that I was seeing. So I don't know if that helps or hurts because it's like, okay, second opinion. But I do feel like one of the doctors kind of took more of a sense of urgency as far as like running tests, whereas the other one was more like, you're young, you're healthy, it's fine. Just take this medication.
Which I find mind-blowing because I can't imagine giving someone a medication without trying to figure out what's actually going on because the medication could easily mask symptoms.
Exactly.
So how would they know?
Yes. I'm like,
did those
this is a
medications
Band-Aid.
you were taking, did they actually like help with some of the symptoms?
So the one for my heart, it did slow it down. So that did help. I wasn't experiencing that increased heart rate. And then if I did like forget to take a pill, of course it would jump back up. But I still didn't have answers as to what was causing my heart to do that. The heartburn one did not help at all. So I was like, okay, this is just frustrating me. I've been eating all these nasty foods, taking this medication, and it's not getting me anywhere. Yeah, and it just felt like as time was going on, it was just more symptoms, and I was like, okay, I need different tests done because this is not okay.
Yeah. So at what point did they start taking this seriously?
So once I started losing weight and I was weaning off the medication, I made the first available appointment. And before I could get into the appointment, I experienced for the first time where when I went to eat, it felt like I couldn't breathe, felt like the food got stuck. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just stuck. Let me grab something to drink. And I tried to drink something and it was stuck as well. And it felt like I was drowning. And I was like, okay,
how scary.
I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I couldn't breathe. And I'm freaking out. And then it finally passes. I'm like, okay, that was weird. And then it happened again. And both times that it happened, I was eating bread. So I thought maybe it has something to do with bread. But then before I got into my appointment, it started happening with meats and other foods as well. So I was like, okay, I think there's something bigger going on. So I went in and asked for them to repeat my blood work. I told them I've also lost weight. I'm having this difficulty swallowing. And she was like, well, we've already been running your blood work. Everything's been healthy. Everything is great. And I said, but I've lost like 15 pounds in 2 months. And she looks at my chart and she says, oh, you have.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I told you I lost this. You weren't looking at this? Okay. But she said, yes, you've lost. And then it seemed like she started to have concerns. She's like, and I don't really like what you're saying about the swallowing. So let's get you to a specialist. Like now you don't like what I'm saying after you see the weight loss.
Wow.
Yes. So then I got referred to a gastroenterologist. First available appointment was not for 2 months. Yes. So I was like, okay, more waiting. That's fine. We've been waiting this entire time. Go in. She didn't like what she was hearing. She's like, let's rerun blood work. Let's do a CT scan. We'll possibly do an endoscopy and colonoscopy. Blood work came back great, super healthy, as we know. CT scan did not show anything alarming. So she said, okay, let's do the endoscopy and colonoscopy. So I went in for that procedure and I was already exhausted. I'm like, we've done so much and we have no answers. Do I really want to do this? I had spent so much money at that point, and I remember telling my spouse, should I even do this? I just feel like I'm fighting for answers that I'm never gonna get, and we've spent so much money. And he said, no, something is wrong. We need to figure this out. Let's have this done. And I'm so thankful that he talked to me about that and talked me into it, because
were you trying to talk yourself out of it?
Yeah, because it was gonna be like a couple $1,000 more for this procedure. We've already spent thousands and we've had no answers. It was just, we were already in a stressful situation, and so I was like, you know, do we keep doing this? Like, how much more can we do when we're not getting answers? And I was like, well, maybe it is stress. Maybe everyone is right.
But were you getting worse that whole time?
I was.
Yeah.
So it was like I wanted relief, but I wasn't. I don't know. It just started. I guess I started to doubt myself.
Of course.
Because I wasn't getting answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you start to question, is it me? Am I the problem?
Exactly.
Which,
like, am I creating this?
Right?
Yep. I think so many of us who have gone through any kind of major diagnosis at one point or another, or several times, have that feeling of like, am I just, is this in my head? Especially when the doctors don't believe us.
Yes. Exactly. And they're
and
telling
our blood
you,
work comes back fine, and they're like, you're so young. And,
you're healthy.
But you know something's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So we did the endoscopy, and 5 days later, we got the call back, and he's like, I'm the person who did your procedure. Just want to go over your results. You know, we found H. pylori. It's a common stomach bacteria. It looks like you contracted this when you were a child. Looks like you've had it for a very long time. He's like, and with H. pylori, when it goes untreated, sometimes it can turn into gastric cancer. And that's what we're dealing with. And just kind of got quiet in that moment. And I was just like blinking and staring at my spouse. We're looking at each other like, did he really just say that? And so I said, I'm sorry, so I have gastric cancer? And he said, yes, it's stomach cancer, also known as gastric cancer.
How did you feel in that moment when you